Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Today I want to talk more about Tasoshi Drakamoto, the coming voucher promo card. And I want to talk about how powerful it looks because I want to compare it to what we saw with Keeling Gains, not from a utility perspective exactly, more particularly from how many units were sold, how many vouchers were burned. That's important to me because it speaks to the future valuation of vouchers. Is Keeling Gains going to be more successful in having burnt 4 million plus vouchers on this one card? I think so. And so what does that mean about Tasoshi? Is it going to crush? Are we going to go beyond that? I don't think so. Maybe. Let's talk about it though, because it has implications for voucher pricing. It has implications for the scarcity of this new card and maybe the relative scarcity of Keeling Gains. Let's talk about it. So I think the conversation needs to begin with maybe a bit of an analysis of the card's functionality. Tasoshi Drakamoto, I've already talked about it. You guys have probably strongly considered this. You've heard different content creators talk about their perspective on Tasoshi. I think it's a strong card. It's not an amazing card. I think I might even say it's a really good card. I don't think it's a must-have card. And I should say, before I go any further, I could be wrong. I see a lot of functionality or a lot of usefulness. I don't really think it's going to be better than Keeling Gains in terms of its impact into the game. Now, as you look at level 1, it looks Keeling Gains is like whatever. But as you look at the max level with the double strike and then the 3 damage and the phase with the 6 speed, this thing's really good for 8 mana, and it's available across really every Splinter because of the dragon connection. But death is nice too for that to partner. And so we've seen Keeling Gains happen a lot. Even to further prove my point, if I pop into rank and I just, we're going to see Keeling Gains a lot. If I go to top battles, let's see, what's the over under? There's 20 battles on this. Will there be 5 of them that show Keelan? I bet there will be. Keeling Gains, Keelan, 3 for 5, I think. Oh, and there's a double. He's a double. Yabba played him versus Dragon Rider. Both teams. 3 for 5. I think there's another Keelan. I think we're batting half. There's Keelan. There's Keelan. There's Keelan. I don't even need to go any further. More than half of the matches have him. And it's like low mana, high mana. There's Keelan. It's like he's being played a lot. There he is again. There he is again. So clearly this card is very impactful, and I featured, an X comment from Tofu the other day, and Tofu says he spent 50,000 more vouchers on Keeling Gains before it leaves the marketplace because he thinks it is the meta, meaning it's that impactful, it's that powerful. It's like, it's so functional and useful, and I think he's right. It is very impactful. So I believe it's hard to compare in some ways because even though they're both magic monsters, they're very different magic monsters. I would say Keeling Gains is almost like an off tank, like a Genoshanus type vibe, whereas Tasoshi is more of a support monster that's going to provide some real sneak value. Sneak value in the sense of the stun on the sneak can really shut down some backline support monsters. Also, the spite is an interesting sneak defense. This is how I'm imagining. I might be missing something in terms of its optimized usefulness, but how I would play this is put it in my 6th spot in higher mana matches, and I'm going to let you hit me in the sneak attack, and I'm going to try and outkill you. I'm going to try and kill you faster than you kill me with the stun and the magic damage sneak. But if you end up killing me, so be it. I'm going to spite, return fire with spite. So Tasoshi has I think a real functionality because sneak attack is very common. I want to have a spite that'll bring you down when you come at me. Also, 3 damage output in conjunction with fire could be brought up to 4 with Lorcus, which makes it a very powerful sneak damage output. And a lot of sneak monsters, if we just go to Peak Monsters and we look up the word sneak, you're going to find that a lot of the sneak monsters that are going to be put in the game are going to have less than 4 hit points. Let's look max. Maybe they have 5. These are max. So look, Undead Badger 4, Goblin Thief 5, 7, 5, 5, 5, 6, 5, 5, 3, 3. So my point is sneak monsters are relatively low in hit points, and if I'm doing sneak damage to you, I might kill your monster with the first shot because I'm presuming that your sneak monsters are toward the back end of your own team in your 5th or 6th spot. And so for all those reasons, yeah, this is a good card. I don't think it compares to Keelan though. Even though those are interesting, and the Inspire is potentially, really helpful, especially if you're building. There's certain fire teams, nowadays that I really, really enjoy. If we just quickly look at that, we've talked about a couple of these cards quite a bit. But if I go like this and I feature neutral and fire, and we go melee only, because we want to see where would that Inspire help us. Blazebeard Merc is an amazing card. You'd love to inspire him. He's got the charge. He's got the bloodlust. Super helpful. How about Vicious Giraffe with an extra damage output to start off with? Cave-Wise Wayfinder with an extra damage output, which is great because it has ambush. Ferris Brewer, the charge with the Relentless Strike, which means perfect damage against shielded monsters. Great to see an Inspire on that. Every one of these cards on the screen is an Inspire monster, like a monster that will benefit from Inspire. And so, clearly having the Inspire with Tasoshi is going to be helpful, valuable. But here's my point. My synopsis, or let's say the way I view this card is that, however you want to measure it, as helpful as it appears that it will be, as impactful as I imagine it actually will be. I do think it'll be useful. I think it's going to be a high scoring card. It's going to have a lot of usefulness. It's going to be played regularly. It's going to be impactful. But I do not believe it'll be as good as Keelan. And so then coming back to Keelan, if Keelan in almost the full duration of its time on the marketplace has burned 4 million vouchers, which is crazy, by the way, and I would say single-handedly has buoyed the voucher price point. We saw vouchers drop below like around 1 penny. And then I think with Keelan, we saw it bring up to 2 and hold at 2, and it hasn't fallen below. People have been buying Keelan the whole time. And as we look toward Satoshi or Tasoshi, we know that the voucher price point has spiked from 2 to 2.7. So this is a good indicator that this sale mechanism, these exclusive voucher cards, is heading us in the right direction. But we know that vouchers are continuing to be printed. And so one piece of what I'm trying to discuss is, are we going to burn more vouchers to the point where we're going to continue to drive voucher price higher? I'm skeptical of that, because even Keelan kind of just held the ground. And while right now, as we prepare for Tasoshi to come, we are seeing price increases around the vouchers, I don't believe that is sustainable, because I think the initial buying pressure will be more dramatic. So people are buying vouchers now to prepare for the launch, but I actually don't think in 2 weeks' time you're going to see, or 30 days time, you're going to see the sustained buying pressure that we've seen with Keelan. Not saying this won't be a success. I believe Tasoshi can be a success and yet be less of a success than Keelan Gains. That's my presumption. I could be wrong, but that becomes a foundation by which I'm going to speculate about the voucher burns with Tasoshi, as well as the price appreciation on vouchers. I'm essentially saying I don't think there'll be dramatic price appreciation on vouchers through the next 90 days, as there have been, or the stability we've enjoyed because of Keelan. Unless we get hints of the following one and that being really bananas or overpowered. So does all that point toward Tasoshi being a failure? No. I still think it's going to sell well. I still think it's going to be an impactful card. And there's one final point that I want to make about this that I haven't yet pointed to. This sale has one piece that could really drive its sale into probably maybe astronomical places, like comparative even to this 4 million voucher burn. What am I talking about? If I just said Keelan is better, I think this is gonna sell better, it's gonna be more desirable, then how is it possible that Tasoshi would sell or burn more vouchers? The one pathway that the unique distinct advantage that this card offers is right here with the black foil. The black foil edition is a 2% drop rate. Sorry, it's a 1 in 4%, 2%, that'd be crazy. It's a 1 in 4,000 drop rate. And then you can bring that up to 1 in 2,000 if you use Midnight Potions. Why is that important in this context? I think the possibility to drop black foils of this card, it being epic, and it's probably priced on the marketplace of at least $300, $400, $500, $600 probably for this one card. If you rip a black foil, is going to by itself drive more voucher sales, and because people are going to want more copies of Tasoshi. So I'm saying the chase is real. I'm saying this card isn't as good as Keelan, but that I think we're going to see probably, I don't know, is it going to be equal in voucher burns? Is it going to be greater voucher burns? Because the black foil question mark, it's going to create extra demand. It's going to create more incentive for people to go deep into this. If you buy hundreds and hundreds of copies of this thing, you actually are going to get into a place where you might realize a black foil by mathematical odds, like 2,000 would be, right? That's where it starts to get like you're going to be guaranteed some of these things. Not guaranteed, but high level, no guarantee on the black foils. And so I'm wondering out loud, and I'm inviting conversation from the community to say, is this a good thing in the context of voucher promo cards, voucher exclusives? On the one hand, I see it as being obviously a great thing because it's going to create an incentive for people to buy more of them, therefore burning more vouchers. That's going to create a sustained pressure, presumably, on voucher price point, which is good for SPS token holders and for node runners, etc. You want to hold up voucher prices because you want to incentivize partnership and depth of investment in the game. So for those reasons, I like the black foil, but here's the bad side of the coin. Having a black foil is going to create extra demand over this card than would have been possible on the other voucher exclusives. And that's going to mean more creation of this card, I think. You're going to see not more creation than Keelan gains because it costs 250 vouchers to produce one of these, not 100 with Keelan, but more proportionally speaking. And so even though this is an epic and it's more expensive, I would argue we're going to print more copies than we quote unquote need. What I mean by that is, what does the community genuinely want? I'm not saying chase value. I'm saying use value. There's two distinct metrics, and I think from a use value, this card has less, but it has a greater chase factor. And so I'm interested to explore what this is going to mean for voucher burning and voucher price point. I do believe strongly that this card will ultimately end up being cheap in the regular foil. That's the Cole's notes of what this all means. It probably does mean vouchers hold relatively strongly. It probably does mean that because of this, people are going to chase more of Tasoshi and they're going to get more of the reg foils, which means they're going to bring them to the marketplace because they only want X, Y, or Z copies of it. Maybe they want 1 or they want 2 copies, or maybe they want 10. I don't know, but they're not going to, I don't see people making an argument that this card is better than Keelan and therefore they want more copies than Keelan. I think the only reason we go deeper, if we go deeper, is because of this black foil variant. And I'm not certain that's a good thing for our community. Is that good for our community? I guess it depends on what line of the conversation you land on. Are you a voucher producer? Are you not? I'd love to see the comments below on this one, guys. Have an amazing day. God bless.